Folks, if you've been following Jonathan Twombly and I's discussion, you know one thing for sure. We are both conservative investors who sold before this last little run up. Both of us sold properties in 18 and 19 because we thought things were getting away from us. The pandemic obviously took cap rates even lower, which means in theory we sold early. But we have been warning you for the last year about the pain is coming. We have done videos where we've taken $100 million properties and turned them into 28, 32, $40 million properties. We took a billionaire to zero and below. It is now obvious that our concern might be understated. There is $1 trillion in multifamily refinances coming up in the next 4 years. There is $2.6 trillion in all of commercial coming up in the next 4 or 5 years. Folks, that debt needs to be refied. Also, new transactions. It could get ugly. Jonathan, what's going on? How you doing?
I mean, gosh, with that intro, listen, there is a lot of debt that is about to mature. And the reason that there's so much debt maturing, some of this is short-term debt that can't, that is from the pandemic era, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of it is a little bit longer term debt. So these things will behave a little bit differently, really, depending on when it was purchased. But let's look at so the real problem for almost everybody in that group of maturing debt is that interest rates are much higher than they were when they got their
And
original
going
debt.
higher.
And going higher, yes, right. So
Yes.
which means that when let's put aside for a moment whether the banks are going to have the same appetite to refi, right?
Mm-hmm.
To issue new loans that they did when they first issued the original loans. That's a different
Correct.
issue. Even
Correct.
just assuming that all of those loans are there's appetite for them all to roll over, the interest rates are going to be much higher. And that's going to mean that some of those deals are going to require cash in refi because the equity
Get
will
used to
have.
that term, cash in
Yep.
refi. It's going to be very common. We are now having more and more syndications do equity call outs, right? Equity raises. It's just starting. And boy, if you got to do an equity raise, let me tell you, be first. Don't be fifth because your LPs are going to get really tired of those phone calls.